Hi everyone, this is Diana from Matrix Alchemia with a new episode today, talking about beautiful, amazing people, supporting people through their own journey. Today we have lovely Heather from Isis Sounds. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Heather, we were talking before that we already have someone that does sound healing. On the series, but as we were saying before, you do something slightly different, or maybe a lot more different. My idea is to present people doing amazing things and slightly different, because everybody will be relating and resonating with something specific and unique for themselves. So let's start by talking about who you are, Heather. Introduce yourselves, please, so people know a little bit about yourself. Not all the secrets, but maybe 2 or 3.
Okay, so my name's Heather Parker, and I've been doing sound work for 13 years. I'm also a shamanic practitioner, so I do soul retrieval and soul energy release, and I also do assemblage point alignment, which is focusing on where the auric field links into your body and making sure that that's centralized, because if it's not, then you can feel a bit under the weather. And then I'm also working on adding crystal healing to my skill set. And I work with fairies, and I work with Merlin and Pegasus, and channel
and
all those energies.
Like a long list, yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the therapies a little bit later. What I want to find out is, who is Heather?
Okay, so the sound healing came about because I was going through a bit of a troubled time myself. Was suffering with bouts of depression since my late teens, and I sort of stumbled upon this lady who was learning how to be a sound healer, and I sort of put my name down on a piece of paper, and I was at a Mind Body Spirit, and she rang me up and she said, "Would you still like to have some sessions?" And of course I kind of went, yeah. And she said, "Well, you live down the road from me, so that's perfect." So I literally walked to her house and had some sound healing, and I was just absolutely blown away. I felt this huge weight lifting off my chest, and I just thought, well, this is incredible. I need to find out more about this stuff. So I did, and I enrolled with the College of Sound Healing about a year later, and I've not really looked back since. So yeah, it's been quite an incredible journey. I know it sounds very cliche to say the course changed my life, but it seriously has changed my whole what I thought I would be doing. I'm now doing something completely different. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
Beautiful.
Oh. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So okay, my next question is, because obviously I know about you, and I know quite a bit about you, and we do share and swap healings as well, and we do all sorts of beautiful things together. So we know each other for a long time. Can you tell them, the people watching this, could you tell them who Heather is as a person?
So I am someone who I love sound, and I love to share that passion with people. So I love to use my voice. So with the course that I did, it's sort of learning how to use your voice as a healing tool. And I kind of realized that I've been doing that a lot in my life, because I used to be in choirs at school, used to do the musical society at college. So I've always sung. I've always loved singing. So one of my passions is kind of getting people to sing with me, you know, get people to chant. If you sing, put the radio on for 10 minutes a day, you can really boost your well-being and improve your health, just with 10 minutes of blasting it. And you don't have to be a great singer, you know. That's one of the perks of just being at home or in your car or something, you know. And it can you know, really help you. So just being surrounded by music. I'm always surrounded by music. There's always a radio on. There's always something in the background. I can't function unless I have music. It's sort of intrinsic to my soul and who I am as a person, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, we did do some free your voice workshops, isn't it? I did couple with you, and I remember the first workshop that I attended. Obviously, you were facilitating it, and doing some chanting was amazing. Although it completely pushed me out of my comfort zone because I'm not necessarily a natural singer, maybe, let's say. I don't always touch all the notes in the right octave, maybe. But it was beautiful to see how you introduce us to the chanting in such a beautiful, gentle way of just use your voice, don't worry about what people think, because we're not here to judge. And it's great, isn't it? One of the things that I'm really passionate about, especially in the sound healing, but also chanting and singing, is because in my perception, the voice is the first tool, healing tool, sound healing tool that we have. We don't need any other things. You know, we can have all those beautiful things all around us, but actually the voice is, isn't it? It's a very powerful tool.
It's a very powerful tool. And I think one of the things that's really useful when you're doing sound healing is you can change the note that you're on when you're toning over a body. You can change the frequency very, very instantaneously. Whereas if you use bowls, etc., they're great. You have to stop what you're doing, pick up another bowl if it's not quite right, and try a different one. Whereas with this, it's straight in, it's straight there. And the voice is incredibly powerful because sound, each single tone will have lots of different layers to it. So it has lots of different harmonics, and it's a little bit like a rainbow. So when the sun gets split into different colors by raindrops, it's exactly the same when you hear a pure tone. There's all different harmonic layers to that one tone, and that's what makes it really even more powerful than what you realize. So if you're in a cave, for example, or like a big expanse of space, like a cathedral or something, then you might be able to hear the harmonic tones.
Okay. So presumably, if obviously the voice is, you know, our first healing tool, how does that link with what we speak and how we speak? Would that be affected?
Yeah, it depends on how you use your voice. I mean, there are good tones, there are good sounds, and then I mean, you can say, for example, like, you know, if you're in a maybe dysfunctional family and you've got a lot of shouting going on, that can really jar a person. We are 75 to 80% water, so we are really good conductors of sound. Sound travels really well through water. If you think of how whales and dolphins will communicate in the oceans, those sounds travel for thousands of miles. And so sound really does travel through us very well. So it depends on your environment, and also depends on how you want your sound to affect other people. So for example, like if you're a pregnant person and you want to soothe your baby bump, you sing them a lullaby, you know. And it's no different for when you get older. If you want to soothe someone, then you can sing them
Mm.
a song of love from your heart center. We call it a heart song. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to really give someone that sense of peace, that sense of calm, that sense of nurturing. If you sing to them lots of positive words, it's a little bit like the use of NLP, where you use positive words, positive repeats, and you sing them their name. If you sing to them their own name, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Mm. I remember experiencing that again in one of your circles, and it was unnerving to begin with, but yes, it was beautiful. So how do you support people through their own journeys? I mean, what I guess it's a bigger question is in how do you support them, and what things they come up with. I mean, they come to you to help them with, if it makes sense.
Okay, so mainly people come because of sort of possible emotional trauma that they have going on in their life. The shamanic soul retreat was really good for dealing with things like that. Or if they've got depression or insomnia, the sound healing's really great for dealing with that. Yeah, all sorts of things. I mean, I helped treat a lady with IBS, severe IBS. She had terrible symptoms. She had 3 sessions with me, and then she wrote back a lovely message saying that her husband had said that she was a different person. So
Oh,
that's really lovely.
great.
So yeah, I mean, I deal with all sorts of issues. My brother-in-law has asthma, and I can give him a session, and for 2 weeks he'll be symptom free. So it's great for all sorts of things.
So you were saying about the sound healing. So
Mhm.
you're doing that with singing bowls. I know there's a shamanic aspect to you as well, which we were talking about earlier. And you do a lot of drumming and a lot of chanting.
Yeah.
Um, so can you walk us through what's happening? Let's say somebody comes to you for a healing, doesn't necessarily specific. I mean, I'm guessing that they can be specific about what they want from you, either sound healing or assemblage point. We get to that as well,
Yeah.
or soul retrieval. So they could specifically ask for that.
Yeah.
But if they don't, how would you conduct a healing session?
So I tend to combine a lot of the different methods into one kind of big hodgepodge healing session, if you like. It's not hodgepodge, it's divinely guided, I promise you. um, so they come in, and I can either smudge them, and I start getting the sort of ideas of what's happening with them with the smudge, or I use my tuning forks. Oh, I have some here. My
Something you
my
prepared earlier.
I know, my C and G tuning forks, and if you use them across the body, you can start to get an idea of where the person might need some healing. I will always clear the person's legs first, so I work from kind of like root chakra down, so that if then when you're working on the rest of the body, they're releasing stuff, it's got like a clear channel for it to go through. And I find that's really quite helpful as well. A lot of people that come and see me now are quite ungrounded because of all the ascension that we seem to be going through at the moment. So yeah, grounding them is really important. So I'll use sound for the chakra point, tuning into the body. And I also use rattles as well. These are really great for sort of getting rid of stagnant energy, especially in sort of various hotspots, if you like the knees or the hips, places where your body will sort of fold, or elbows, and then sort of emotional spots where stagnant energy can stay stuck. So the sacral chakra, and also like the heart center as well. People who are thinkers, they've got a lot of mind chatter on the go, you can use the sound to cleanse. I also work with crystals as well. So clear quartz crystals are great for kind of like drawing out stuck stuff. I also work with shamanic stones, and they're great for sort of clearing intrusions. That's what we call them in the shamanic trade. Sort of parts of different aspects of your life that get stuck in your body, stuck in the muscles. So yeah, it's a really beautiful treatment. I'll include some drumming in the session usually, and then to sort of finish off, we'll maybe put some rose quartz around people to give them some nice energy and sing them a heart song so that they can feel soothed and calm at the end.
Beautiful. Sounds amazing.
Oh, and then sometimes I channel Merlin and Pegasus and etc. etc. I forgot
On top
all
of
about
everything
that.
else, yeah.
Exactly.
So you were talking about the assemblage point. What is that?
Okay, so the assemblage point is a fixed point on your body. You can actually feel where it is. I'm sort of fiddling around here off camera, but there's a little sort of soft point just underneath your breastbone, and that's usually where it sits for women. For men, it's slightly higher up on the chest. This is the physical point where your auric field will connect into your body. So you've got different layers of auric field where this point is supposed to go through all those different layers. However, the assemblage point can fragment, so you can get different areas of it where it will slip out of place. So what I do is I bring the assemblage points back into alignment so that the flow of the auric field is nice and unified, and each layer will come sort of circular motion rather than the assemblage point trying to go down here or up here, or so yeah, it needs to be all in alignment for you to have optimal health. You find that people who are kind of like manically depressed have their assemblage points all over the place. People with MS, it also helps them a great deal as well. And people with fibromyalgia, it's really good for them. Helps with their immune system to boost them. Helps, and then a secondary treatment, obviously, with all the sound and the shamanic stuff, will help with their sort of pain and flare-ups and stuff. So yeah, it's a great addition. And if you add it on to the session, I usually do that right at the beginning to kind of get them in a good space for the rest of the healing to take place.
So what's the shamanic stuff?
The shamanic stuff. Okay, so
this is like a big thing, shamanic stuff.
It is. It's there's a whole world of different things that you can get involved in. In 2009, I did soul retrieval with the College of Sound Healing. So I studied with Simon Heather, and this is a treatment where you can go back and rescue lost parts of your soul that have been left behind because of traumatic events. So say, for example, you have a car accident. What we do generally in Western society is we go, oh my God, I've just had a traumatic car accident. I need to sort out insurance. I need to get the car fixed. And what you don't necessarily do is fix the emotional traumatic part of it, which gets put in a little box and gets put to one side. So what I do is I go back and I use power animals to go and collect these things and bring the parts back to me, and then I put them back into the body. Now, these sessions have really given great results because they help people who feel like they're on a treadmill. If you feel like your life is going around in circles, you probably could do with a bit of soul retrieval. Yeah, it's just been such a great treatment that I learned to do, and it's helped quite a lot of people. I have no idea how many clients I've seen since I've started working, but oodles. And it's a great treatment. And then after a while, the founder of the college, Simon Heather, he kept nudging me and saying, Heather, you've got to come and do part 2. You've got to come and do part 2. Now, when I did the soul retrieval, there was no part 2. So I kind of went, yeah, okay. And then eventually I thought, no, this is a good time. I'll go and do it. So we learned then how to do soul energy release, which again is a really great treatment where you can separate two people's energies. So say like there's a mother and daughter relationship that's really, really toxic, and you don't want to be influenced by that toxicity anymore. So the shamans would remove that person's energy from your energy, and then you could then deal with that person in a completely different way because you're no longer intertwined energetically.
There's no power plays.
There's no power plays. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it helps people if they get divorced, you're not actually interlinked energetically with that person anymore. It helps with all sorts of toxic relationships. So that was a really great thing to add on to that. We learned how to remove intrusions with the shamanic stones. So I then had to go and find my magic stones that would work with me, which is great because you kind of you take yourself off on a walk and you're looking around for various stones. And if they come away easy in your hand, you ask it, you talk to it, you say, are you going to come and work with me? And if you get a good vibe off that stone, then you take it home, you say thank you to where you picked it up from, and you take it home and you work with the stones. We also learned how to give people the energy of a power animal. So say you're sort of working intuitively on someone, and you see a power animal come in to your visual information, you can give that energy back to them by calling on that animal and just allowing that energy to flow into them. It's very, very, very powerful. Each animal has a certain type of shamanic medicine, which is, again, it's another side of shamanism, which is amazing to kind of like start looking into. It's brilliant. I don't profess to know everything there is to know about shamanic stuff. I would love to learn more, but what I do know, it's a great way to kind of live, and it's very grounding for me. I find it really sort of nurturing for my soul anyway. So yeah, I love it.
That's brilliant. One of the things that I was thinking, when you're explaining to us, I mean, it's fascinating, and I always want to know more. But one of the things I was thinking is, when I'm thinking shamanic, and as in the shaman, right? The image that comes to mind is obviously a man or a woman somewhere in the middle of nowhere in a hut with lots of plants and lots of things all around, but you're not living in the middle of nowhere, are you?
No. I am a mum of 2. I wear incredibly normal clothes. Yeah, I mean, it's you get all sorts of shaman around. You don't necessarily have to. I see. This is the thing. I am a shamanic practitioner. I wouldn't say I was a shaman because to be a shaman, you would have to have spent like time with a tribe, maybe 2 or 3 years, learning the processes, learning the deep rooted stuff, dealing with your shadow side, all that kind of, really deep work to call yourself a shaman. Yeah, there's a bit of a differential there that goes on, but yeah, I'm kind of normal, really. She says. In a holistic therapist type of way.
But the shamanic aspect, the shamanic practitioner side of things, presumably is part of you, and it is a way of life, isn't it, that you've embraced?
Mm.
So how do you merge, or how do you marry the spiritual aspect with the normal aspect? A mom of two, taking care of the house and organizing the husband and the two daughters,
Yes.
and organizing yourself and doing all the gritty
Yeah.
things that in life, and then in the same time being this amazing spiritual entity, spiritual being with a beautiful and rich spiritual life. How's that merging together?
Well, not so much during lockdown, because obviously we're all kind of in the same place at the same time. So things kind of giving time to that side of things gets a bit more tricky. However, pre-lockdown, if the kids were at school, I very often take time and I get my drum out and I smudge and I kind of connect with my spirit elders and ask them, what kinds of things would you like me to do? I I run a monthly drumming group, so each month I kind of like tune in and ask, what is it we're going to be doing this month? They tell me. I don't create it. It's all channel stuff. It's all from them. Um, so yeah, it's really important to kind of like give yourself that time and space to connect in. Um, I have to say though, during lockdown, I am doing a lot more meditation. um,
Brilliant.
but just to keep yourself on level. I mean, it is a little bit bonkers out there, to be honest, and there's new information coming at you every day. You have to kind of, sort of keep yourself on a level. Deep breathing, meditation, stretching. I'm doing like a really lovely Nia class. My friend Vicky Rainbow does this amazing class, and I do that every Thursday. And then in between that, during the week I sort of dance around. I put music on and dance about because it's just makes you feel good. So yeah.
That's beautiful, because you led us into what was my next question. If you have any tips or insights or things that you do to support yourself that you could share with others. So you were talking about obviously doing meditation, and I know it's tricky, isn't it, when you have kids about, but maybe there's something that we can involve the children
Mm,
in. Although my 5-year-old, the only thing that I can do with him actually, and he does sit with me, is if I do chanting,
yeah.
because that's entertaining and there's certain frequency as well. So that, but I guess what other things can you do during the lockdown? Maybe things that you've been doing before on your own, and maybe now you've been kind of gathering the others in the household or incorporating it in the routines.
Yeah. So very often if I'm doing stretching, my 6-year-old will come and join in with me, which is really nice. So we just get the yoga mats out and do some stretching, release the tension in the muscles. That's a nice sort of thing you can do. And sometimes when I do distant healing, they actually come into the room and they help me do it. So they'll kind of like use a rattle or pick up a drum and they help me to send the energy to other people. That's been really beautiful to actually see them kind of like go, oh, mummy's doing her thing. I'll help her out. That's a nice thing to do. Deep breathing, simple deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, proper deep breathing. So you're taking in a deep breath through your nose and you release it really slowly through your mouth, so that actually your lungs are sort of going slightly aching a little bit. And then the next in breath is like really full because you've squeezed all the air out of your lungs properly, so that you've sort of almost created a vacuum. And then the
Mm-hmm.
in breath is like really nice and oxygenated. And so doing just maybe 2 minutes of that is going to really help to kind of ease your sort of stress and anxiety. And yeah, as I say, lots of meditation, and there's so many things you can use. Lots of different apps, Headspace and Calm. I think that there's one called Calm. what's the one I use, in a space or something. There's all Headspace. Yeah, I've said that. There's loads of different and lots of things on YouTube. Binaural beats, 528 hertz music, which is that's the love frequency. It's yeah, there's all sorts of things that you can listen to out there that will really take you into that deep space, into that theta space. That's what you're kind of aiming for. Shamanic drum journeys, there's all sorts of things out there like that. Sarah Gregg, who does Reiki drumming, she's got stuff on her website that you can download and listen to journeys. Sandra Ingerman, she's another great person to Google and get information about with regards to shamanic stuff. So yeah, it's all just a question of doing what's right for you and just keeping that balance. I think that's the most important thing, keeping that balance and going out for walks in nature, hugging trees. I love trees. That's my go-to place. Some people like the beach, some people like to go up a mountain, but I love the woods, I love the forest, and that's my go-to place to kind of like get that grounding energy. And the green canopy, so healing, like you're just drinking in all this like lovely healing energy from the trees. Yeah, it's just walking in the forest. I'm a happy girl.
And I think, with the lockdown, actually, a lot of people have been, maybe forced is not a very nice word, but yeah, I guess in a way forced to think about going for a walk, because being indoors and being stuck at home for so long, you need to go somewhere. And obviously going for a walk and coming back, they wouldn't just go to the shop and coming back. So a lot of us have been spending a lot more time in nature, which is great. Now, something that I was thinking to ask you, because it is tricky during the lockdown when you have children to have any me time whatsoever. Now, with the meditation, you kind of need to be in a space of, you space.
Yeah.
So how do you find space? How do you find time?
How do I find space and time? My bedroom is always really great, and I will shut the door and I will say, "Do not disturb" for the next half an hour. Yeah, literally just kind of like putting myself in a space where I'm not going to get interrupted. Sometimes I get interrupted, but if I kind of like have that sort of face that I'm really deep into it, then they'll leave me. They'll leave me to it. But yeah, I think in a way you kind of have to create that space for yourself and not feel guilty for doing it. I think as mums, we're very kind of like, oh, well, I was going to do that, but then this happened, and then like Tim had a sore thumb and I had to go and help them, and etc. etc. So creating that space for yourself, it's really important, because you can't constantly give of yourself to help the kids, to help your husband, to keep on top of the housework, etc., if you're not pouring TLC and nurturing into yourself. It's not a selfish thing. It's self-love and self-worth, and I think that's the way to look at it. Yeah, it's important.
You couldn't have said it better. And then we haven't rehearsed any of this, and I was hoping that you're going to say something in the lines of that. And one of the things that really was, resonated out when you said it is important to make time for yourself and not feel guilty about it, isn't it? Because as a woman, most of the time we're at the bottom of the list, if we make it on the list at all. So it is really important to create that time and space without any guilt, isn't it? Like you said, self-worth, self-love.
Self-worth, self-love, absolutely. And having, you know, even something simple like having a bubble bath, you could sort of turn it into like a ceremony. You know, you don't have to kind of, you know, just like do a quick in and out. Oh, got to get clean, got to get rid of the hard skin on my feet, out we go, you know. Oh, shave the legs, job done. You know, really allow that time to kind of like soak yourself, you know, use Epsom salts, use essential oils, make it a really kind of spiritual occasion. Put candles. I like to actually turn the light off and just have the candlelight when I'm in the bath. And that, I find that really kind of like when you're sort of like lying back and really allowing the water to come, you know, right up to your neck. It's such an immersive, beautiful thing. I definitely don't do that enough. Just thinking about that, actually, I'm thinking, yeah, I must do a little bit more of that. But
Yeah, sounds good.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, so making time for yourself, and yeah. Actually, I was thinking of something, and then I was drifting off, you know, in that beautiful image of having a bath and the candles and everything else going on. Yeah, it is important to find that space, isn't it? Now, I'm going to ask a cheeky question. Are we going to be able to listen to you chanting for us a little bit, you think?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
What
I
do you
know
want?
because
What do
you've
you want
been
to hear?
doing. So on, just for everybody to know that Heather has been posting every now and then beautiful videos of herself, you know, chanting different Sanskrit mantras, and actually not only Sanskrit mantras, but different mantras, different songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always beautiful. We'll put all the details. If you want to go and listen to Heather, you can. But is there any chance you can give us a sample?
Yeah. Okay. How about the river? Because this is one that we like to do, and it's a great way to sort of connect to nature. Yeah, I'll just go for it, shall I?
No
Okay,
time
here
at
we
the
go.
present.
The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing down to the sea. Mother Earth, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother Earth, carry me back to the sea. The moon, she is waiting, waxing and waning. The moon, she is waiting for us to be free. Sister moon, shine on me, your child I will always be. Sister moon, shine on me until I am free.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. So tell us, Heather, where can people find you?
Okay, so I have a Facebook page, Isis Sounds. You can find me on there, or you can send me an email, isissounds@live.co.uk, or I have a website which is www.isissounds.co.uk again. Yeah, so get in touch with me on Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I'm not really good at all those other things. I do have WhatsApp, so you can WhatsApp me as well. But yeah, send me a message, and I'll get back to people pretty quick.
Okay, so we'll place all the details at the bottom of the video so people can find you. And hopefully they can enjoy your voice and the chanting of all those amazing Sanskrit mantras that you've been doing over the years.
Yeah, it all started with Simon and his sound healing course, and we did this one kind of on the very first weekend, which was called Tower of Strength. And I really bonded with that one because I ended up kind of going in the next day and going, that's been in my head the whole night. I woke up with that in my head. You know, when you get that little earworm. And
I wouldn't know anything about that.
It's yeah, it just sort of, it really resonated with me because of all the years I've been doing choir singing and sort of musical society and stuff like that, it just really felt great and natural to me to kind of like to do it. And the Sanskrit mantras, they're just so beautiful because they're enriched with this amazing, incredible ancient language, which is just so beautiful to sing. So yeah, it's well worth investigating. And if you're interested in chanting, then yeah, ask me any questions, or have a look into YouTube and David Pramal, Nikki Slade, all those great people out there that are doing fantastic chanting sessions.
Yeah, I was listening to Deva Pramal yesterday, actually. Couple of mantras, and remembering another mantra that I haven't been listening to for a long time, but kind of coming back into awareness, which is good. Right, I think this is it, Heather. I mean, we could chat and I could listen to you for a very long time, but I think we'll leave it here for now. And yeah, maybe we'll come back to sound healing or things like that at some other point.
Super. Yeah, I could talk about it all day.
I know, especially when you do something that you're passionate about, and it works, and you can support people, and yeah, it's just, I hear you. Okay, so thank you so much, Heather, for being here.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a real pleasure.
And thank you everybody for watching. You'll find all the Heather's details underneath the video. Get in touch, check her out, see what she's all about, listen to the beautiful chanting, and take care of yourselves. Bye.